Hey y'all, welcome to Homestead Budgets. My name is Heather, and today we're going to do a little bit of a different video. I will be doing a video of our trying to conceive and fertility journey, a lot of which that has happened over the past year. I did just want to preface this video with a massive trigger warning. I don't want to put out this video and have it hurt somebody. So I just kind of wanted to give y'all a heads up of what to expect, so that way if it's something that you are not able to handle, you know ahead of time, and you aren't really like surprised by anything. But I just wanted to mention that this video is going to mention loss. It is going to mention mental health, and it is going to mention PSI and ASI. Feel free to look those up. I don't want to kind of say the full abbreviation or acronym, whatever it is, but just a heads up that, and I will let y'all know again further in, but before I like actively start talking about things, but I don't want to upset anyone or surprise anyone. I just want to let y'all know what is coming. And with that, I'm just going to adjust one little thing.
Okay, that's better. I wanted to do something a little bit different with today's video. So today's video is going to be my try to conceive journey video, and my little Dober is going to come. I don't even know if y'all can see him or not, but I knew that he was going to come over here and steal the show in today's video, but I wanted to do something a little different. I think this is like the first time I'm really showing my face, minus a couple of pictures here and there on my channel. So hi guys, it's nice to, well, I say see you, but it's nice to kind of chat with you. And I'm going to have, this is our Doberman puppy that I always tell you all about. His name is Sire. So I knew he was going to come over here and say hi. I'm just hoping he doesn't knock the camera while I'm in the middle of this. But I kind of wanted to do like a try to conceive video for y'all. I know I've had a couple of people reach out saying that they're in the same position, as well as I talk about it a lot on my channel. So I just kind of wanted to go through it for anyone that's interested. Y'all are going to be seeing this on the very last day of this year, so I hope that y'all have a wonderful new year, and if you're doing anything fun tonight, I just hope that you have a good time with it. So I'm going to start with my husband and I. His name is Zach. I've talked about him. I mean, I talk about him a lot on the channel. But so we got married 2 years ago in September, and we had been dating for quite a few years before we got married. So once we got married, we were just like, okay, well, let's get settled into our house. We got married. Hi, buddy. We got married and moved into our house within a month of each other in 2021. So it was a very, very busy time. So we just wanted to get settled. My elderly dog, we had him for a while. We wanted to get him settled in here because he was kind of finicky about new places. So we knew we didn't want to start trying to grow our family right away. But we knew that once we were kind of settled that, are you going to lay down? That once we were settled, we wanted to go ahead and try to start our family. So about a year after we moved in, no, Sire. Okay, lay down. Thank you so much. So about a year after we got married, we decided that we wanted to try to start growing our family. I had, which I'm going to talk about this now. I should have said at the very beginning of the video, but I'll probably put something on the screen over top of me at the beginning just so it's there. But I'm going to put a huge trigger warning right now. I am going to be talking about my fertility journey, obviously. But there is loss mentioned in this journey. There is also some other things mentioned in this journey that have to do with like mental health and things like that. There is mention of PSI in this video. If you don't know what that is, please look that up. If you have any kind of triggers that that you get while you're watching, you know, someone talk about like trying to conceive or infertility or even mental health, I just wanted to kind of make that very, very clear, that I'm going to be very transparent with you guys about kind of what I've been through really in the past like year and a half altogether. But a lot of this has occurred within the year of 2023. But just heads up, it's coming. So once we decided that we wanted to start our family, I had an IUD in, and everything that I was told by a doctor about an IUD was that as soon as it could come out, bam, you could get pregnant. Unfortunately, that was not the case for me. Once I got my IUD taken out, it took probably a good like 4 to 6 months for even my cycles to like get regulated again. No. And that was so uncommon for me because for my whole life I've had a very regular cycle. I could basically tell time by it, but after I got that IUD taken out, I think it just messed with my hormones so much that it took a while for my body to like get back to normal. So after that is when like we could actually start trying. So like that in and of itself was very frustrating. And I understand that everybody's body is different, but I wish that a doctor had told me that there was a chance of that. And I've talked to lots of people in that time that have had an IUD that had a very similar experience. So I really wish that a doctor had talked to me that could have been the case, because if we had known that prior to, I would have gotten that taken out. I mean, literally probably after we got married and into the house. If I knew that it was going to be 6 months where we were even going to get the chance to try, I would have done that then. So that kind of pushed us back even further. After that, I had my, probably within the second cycle of actually being able to try, we were able to get pregnant. This was in December of last year, so 2022. We were able to get pregnant, and unfortunately ended up being a chemical pregnancy. For those of you that don't know, because I had no idea what a chemical pregnancy was, and I had to explain it to a lot of people around me what that was. So basically that's when you find out really early, because obviously this was something that was wanted, is something that we were like striving to do. So I was doing pregnancy tests at home and things like that. But basically a chemical pregnancy is just a very, very early miscarriage. It's a miscarriage that normally happens between like 4 to 6 weeks. Really, I think maybe more of 4 to 5. I don't know like the medical cutoff of it. But basically we found out a couple of days before Christmas of last year. So we were thrilled. We were so excited. We were even more excited that like we were going to be able to tell our family over Christmas, because we had always had the plan of we weren't going to wait to 12 weeks to tell people. I've just never like been that kind of person. And because we were wanting it and trying so much for it, it kind of like took over our lives for a while. We wanted to share that with the people that knew we were waiting for this. So we were very excited. We went out and bought like gifts to basically have people open on Christmas to announce that we were pregnant. And then like I think it was the night of Christmas Eve, because I mean we knew before Christmas, because we basically like last Christmas was very hard because of course we had this plan of telling all of our like family that we were going to see, but I was so upset the day of Christmas because that's when I started to lose the baby, that like I couldn't kind of hide it at that point. So it's like instead of being able to on Christmas morning tell our friends and family that we were pregnant, we were basically going in you know, and then being like, hey, like, you know, what's up with you? Like, it could tell something was wrong. And I was like, well, we were going to announce our pregnancy, but I actually think that I am losing it. So that all around was like not very fun, because we had expected for that to be just a really exciting day, and instead we kind of had to tell them the opposite news, because it's not something that we could like keep to ourselves. I'm very like hard on my sleeves kind of person, so people can tell like when I'm not my normal self, I guess. So that was very hard. And then we were able to get pregnant again in April of 2023. And that was, I'm not going to share his name. We did name our baby. Let me back up. I'm like jumping around because I don't know exactly how. I haven't really I've talked through it obviously before, but I didn't really have like a layout plan of what I was going to like talk with y'all. I just kind of sat down and started talking to you guys. But so we found out that we were pregnant in April. Things were going well. Some of my numbers when I was going in for tests weren't exactly what they were supposed to be, but some of the doctors weren't terribly worried about it, even though everything that I knew about pregnancy, it didn't seem like to me things were going the way that they were supposed to. But every doctor that I saw was like, everything is fine, you know, yada yada. We'll be able to tell at your first scan, like that kind of thing. So things were fine. And then come the end of May, so at that point I think I was around 7 or 8 weeks, I started to spot, and then I started to bleed. And then that's when like it kind of clicked. It's hard to explain, because while I wanted this baby so badly, I kind of knew that something was wrong. And that's why I went to multiple doctors, and I was just like, look, something does not feel right. The numbers, in my opinion, were not where they were supposed to be. But I had multiple medical professionals tell me everything is fine. And then we get to the first scan. At the first scan, I was 7 weeks and 6 days. So I was almost 8 weeks. And I was basically measuring at like 5 weeks. And again, it was kind of this whole, it almost felt a bit like a gaslighting situation, because everyone that we talked to, the ultrasound person obviously doesn't talk to you very much, but I was just like, look, I know that it should be further along than that. And then we were just like, can we talk to a doctor before we leave? Because like, I was very upset. Like, I just, like, at that point, I knew that something was wrong. This is kind of rough to talk about. I knew that something was wrong, and I needed a doctor to like talk to me straight. Like, I remember sitting down with whatever doctor was on duty that day, because I was not going home without an answer, because again, I felt like something was wrong. So we sat down, and I was just like, look, I know that we don't know each other. I know that we don't have that normal relationship that like I have with my regular OB. I was just like, but I just need someone to tell me the truth. Like, I don't need someone to sugarcoat this situation. I just want to be told the truth, basically. And this doctor, like I said, it just kind of felt like he gaslit me a little bit, and he was just like, well, you know, maybe you like counted your cycle wrong. Maybe, you know, like you're just off, like, you know, with, like how you've counted how far along you are in your pregnancy. And I was just like, no, like I found out April 26th that I was pregnant, and that was, it was 10 DPO, which is 10 days past ovulation. And like I track my ovulation with like ovulation kits. Like, I knew, and in my mind, for them to be like, oh, well, you're only 5 weeks, then like basically we would have had to conceive this child after I had already gotten the positive pregnancy test. So like at that point I knew. I was just like, look, I'm the one that's living in my body 100% of the time. Like, I know that this is how far along I should be. So after that, I was just like, I'm done with this practice that I was at. And a friend of mine actually helped me find a high risk OB that I went to. And immediately she looks at all of the numbers that we've been having over the past couple of weeks, and it's just like, yeah, this is not going to be a viable pregnancy. And which, like, I had brought up to multiple doctors. I was like, look, these are all of our numbers, you know, from blood tests that I had done, and they weren't lining up with what they were supposed to. So we finally basically got a doctor that was willing to tell us the truth. We waited for another 2 weeks just to be sure and did blood draws over those 2 weeks because I didn't want to do any, I don't know. It's like, even though I knew that something was wrong, I still had that like sliver of hope that, I don't know, something could happen. So we waited 2 weeks, we did another scan, and I was at the exact same spot. I had been bleeding over 2 weeks. So yes, at that point we knew that pregnancy was no longer viable. I was scheduled for surgery to end that pregnancy, basically. I don't really know like what I can and can't say on YouTube, so I guess we'll find out. But and then after that, that recovery was very difficult for me, and I again bled for a really long time after that. I think in total, from when I started spotting while I was pregnant to when I stopped bleeding after my surgery, I think that I was bleeding for like a month and a half. So, and like that was a toll in and of itself. And that was like a really big trigger to like go to the bathroom and like still see blood kind of thing, because it basically just reminded me of the first time that I saw it when I was pregnant, and like I knew that I was miscarrying basically. So just kind of a reminder every time that you go to the bathroom of like, you know, I'm miscarrying, things like that. It was really hard. We, you know, in the basically month, a little over a month that like I knew that I was pregnant, I mean, we were just so excited about stuff. We had waited for this forever, what seemed like forever. And I mean, like we started planning the nursery, we started planning when, you know, your baby shower is going to be, like when the due date was going to be, you know, and all of these things. And just to kind of have that like ripped away from you is, so awful. And I went through a really dark time after that. And then one thing that really did not help is that, and I know I've kind of talked here and there about it on my channel, but while I was still bleeding, I think it might have been a couple of days after my surgery from losing my child, my parents' other daughter, because I will not refer to her as the relationship title that it is, so hopefully that makes sense to you guys, text me. Granted, she lives local. My entire family lives within like 15 minutes of each other. She texted me to tell me that she was pregnant. After I had cried in her arms through infertility, after I'd cried in her arms about my miscarriage, how I cried in her arms about how when you're going through infertility and you see these pregnancy announcements online, it's so difficult. Like, of course you're happy for people because they're growing their family, but at the same time you are sad for yourself because it's like, I wish that I could have that. Literally the day after, when we found out the pregnancy wasn't viable, it was like when we were going to tell everyone that we were pregnant, like when we were going to put it on social media and everything. So for her to text me that information while I was still physically recovering from my miscarriage, was the biggest slap in the face and betrayal I have ever felt in my entire life. I don't want to get like super into it because this is like, it's not the focus of this whole story, but it does play a huge part in this whole story. So after that, like, I'm calling, like, I mean, it was just like like Julius Caesar, like, stab, like, in my stomach kind of feeling. Like, I don't know how else to explain that. But after that, I like called my mother, I called my father, all of this, and apparently all of them knew. So she had obviously told them, you know, around the time that I had my surgery, which in my mind, I'm just like, why is that something? I don't know. And I know that it's only coming from my perspective, but, you know, why is that something that you're announcing to someone? It's for her second child, so it's not like the first time she's pregnant. You know, she's not, it was an accidental pregnancy from someone that she does not know, which I don't want that. That's not coming. I'm not trying to have that come off as judgmental, but I'm, you know, it's a different situation when, like, my husband and I have been trying for so long. And then for it to just be an accident and for her to, like, I don't know, it just, I don't know. To me, it just felt like she was trying to make the situation about her. And then the rest of my family, like, followed suit. Which, I don't know. It just, to me, it honestly felt like my family, once they found that out, was just like, forget you, forget what you just went through. They were only excited about the new baby, basically. That no one really cared. No one really cared that my child had just died inside of me, and I was physically having to recover from a surgery that I didn't want. Oh man, we are not gonna lose it, because then this video will be so much longer than it needs to be. But I felt so abandoned by the people that I would have done anything for. And because of that, I'll put it this way, I no longer talk to or have any association with her or the members of my family that basically kicked me to the curb, and never asked about my recovery or anything like that. I no longer have a place in my heart for those people, because I truly feel like you find out who, like, your true friends and family are. I mean, I even had friends. I had one of my best friends just, you know, basically send me a text message a couple of days after I'm reeling from this, saying, you know, I don't think that we can be friends anymore. And I'm just like, who abandons someone like that? So basically all of that to say, within 2 weeks of me finding out that, not even 2 weeks, it was probably a week and a half of me finding out that my child is gone, going through a surgery, and then having to physically recover from that surgery. Your hormones are all over the place because you basically go through postpartum just without a baby. And I had all of these people that I loved and cared for so much completely abandon me in my time of need, when you are supposed to be there to show up for people. And I went through like a really like just like an awfully dark time. Like, I started having PSI, and you can look up SI on your own. I don't want to like say those words, but it started passive, and then it became not passive. I ended up having to go to the hospital for a couple of days, and talk to mental health professionals and everything. I felt like my world was absolutely crumbling around me. And and it was like all of the people that I would normally lean on, didn't care. And I don't know, it's just so crazy to me. The recovery from all of it has been just like wild, and that's one of the reasons why I'm so ready for 2023 to be over, because me sitting here on December 30th feels like a completely different person than the person who found all of that out in June. I don't at all feel like the same person anymore. I haven't quite decided if that's for the better or not. There are some parts of me that are not better from all of this. There are parts of me that I know are better from what happened to me. But it's been a lot of work. It's been a lot of sessions with therapists, and crying in my husband's arms, and wondering why not only did this happen, not only, no one knows why it happens. You never get an answer. You don't get an answer from a medical professional. They basically, the only thing they could tell us is that there was probably something genetically wrong, and it's just like, okay, well, and there's no way to know for certain. No one ever knows. And just to go through all of that has been extremely traumatic. I told my husband, since I've had to go into the hospital to talk to a medical professional or a mental health professional, I've had, monthly appointments with a therapist, and I told my husband, I was like, I think that I need to seek out like a PTSD specific therapist, because there was just a lot of trauma that happened to me in a very short amount of time, and there are some times where I can't even like let myself even think about like that span of a week and a half, because I'll just spiral and I'll end up in a puddle on the floor. And it's difficult to go through all of that on top of, hitting these milestones of like in November I was going to have my baby shower, and so it's like I had to go through all of that, not pregnant still. I had to go through the holidays where, I had always pictured, since I knew that I was going to have a very big, baby bump at Christmas time, of taking like one of those photos like in front of a lit Christmas tree, and it's like your silhouette, and going through that time, and I'm not pregnant. It's so difficult. Like, my husband and I were talking before this, our baby's due date would have been this coming up Friday, and it's so crazy to me that, I don't know, like, I should have been sitting here with like a really big belly, and we should have been less than a month or less than a week away from meeting our son. I don't know. I don't know why all of this had to happen. I don't know why we still haven't been able to get pregnant since. But we are looking forward to 2024. I'm gonna do my very best to leave as much of this year behind me as I possibly can, because it's just too much. I'll work on it with a professional while I have someone there like with me to help guide me through that process. But everything else, like, can stay in 2023. I'm over it. But moving on to 2024, we have decided that we are probably going to move forward with IVF. It's not something that really either one of us want to do, but at the same time, you know, I'm 32, we're both 32, so like, we don't have forever kind of thing, and we have already been through a lot. It's been over a year and a half since we've started this journey, and we're really ready to be parents. So we have a consult with someone mid-January. We're hoping that that doctor can just give us more information and kind of like what our next steps would be and things like that. So we do feel hopeful. I'm excited to try something new, even if it's something that I may not necessarily want to do. I'm willing to do it. Like, I will, if you told me, you know, I had to walk across a canyon on a string with one foot and, you know, my hands tied to my head or something like that, I would, and that would get me pregnant, like, I would figure out how to do it kind of thing. So if I have to stick myself with needles and go through all of these like surgeries and things like that to be able to bring our baby home, I know that once we hold that baby in our arms, all of this will be worth it. Like, all of this at that point won't matter. It's just when you're in that like waiting season, it's very difficult. But you know, once we have that baby, and we know that we're going to, it's going to happen one way or the other. That, you know, all the stuff that we had to do to get there is not going to matter, is going to be so worth it. And, you know, we would have done it 10 times over to bring home our baby, to start our family. So, you know, we are excited to start something new, to kind of have a different protocol to kind of like look forward to. You know, if IVF is that thing that helps us bring our baby home.
Okay, sorry for the jump, but I think the last like 5 to 10 minutes of my video actually got cut off because my phone died. But I just wanted to say, you know, that we are looking forward to just a new protocol, even if that means that it's IVF. I think what I might do is, I don't think that I mentioned this. I think this is part of what got cut off, but I may make an IVF binder if that's something that we end up doing, because we do have money saved up, which is amazing. And, you know, we will absolutely be dipping into that. We will be going into debt if we end up doing IVF. But if there's anything like preparation wise I can do ahead of time, I'm going to do that. Also, the clinic that we're looking at is out of state, but the reason that we chose that clinic is that they are willing to accept us. One, not all fertility clinics accept everybody. Two, they are significantly cheaper, even with all of the travel and hotel stays that we would have to do in order to get to that different state. They, even with all of that on top of like what the procedure actually costs, it's significantly cheaper than if we just went to our local clinic. So I think that I might set up like a little IVF binder to just kind of save for some of those different things. But just also a heads up, you know, we will be going back into debt to do this, and that's 1,000% okay with, you know, my husband and I. If this is what brings us home our baby, like, part of me wants to say, you know, it doesn't matter how much debt we go into, but, you know, that's obviously not super realistic. But we are willing to go a bit into debt if that means that we can finally start our lives, you know, with our family. So you will have all of that to look forward to. And then I just wanted to say a special thank you to all of you, especially with some of the betrayal and abandonment things that I told you all about in this video. It has just been absolutely incredible to me that, you know, a lot of y'all, while I have relationships with you and, we chat on each other's videos and things like that, we are strangers when it comes to like real life, if you want to, say it that way. But it really gets me, and it really touches my heart that, strangers on the internet can show so much love and so much care, especially when I've had, the experience that I've had with people that are supposedly close to me. So I just want to say from the absolute bottom of my heart that I appreciate it so much. All the comments that, y'all are praying for us, and that that our baby is going to come, that you're praying for our rainbow, honestly means so much. And I've done like orders with people in the cash stuffing community for like envelopes and savings challenges and giveaways and things like that, and just the little cards that are placed in some of those packages that kind of address that that person is thinking of us and know that we'll be able to start our family soon. It just means so much. I have like all of those cards on my desk, and they get me. Every single one of them like makes me tear up. So I just wanted to say a very, very thank you for that, because sometimes those are just like the little pushes you need to keep going in the fertility journey, because sometimes it can just be very daunting and you feel like you're doing the same thing over and over again with no results. So I just wanted to say thank you guys so much for that. I hope that y'all have a great New Year's Eve with whatever it is that you decide to do. And I hope from the bottom of my heart that 2024 is a wonderful year for all of us, and that we all get to accomplish some goals and maybe some dreams that we have going into the new year. But until then, I will see y'all next time. Have a happy new year. I hope that you have fun if you have any plans for New Year's Eve, and I will see y'all in 2024. Bye, y'all.